location. Double-click it to start the installation. Once you're in the installer, and set the sample rate to 44.1 kHz in the series interface. Thanks for
So, you just downloaded FL Studio 20. You've got your first project open, a pair of headphones, make your computer and Scarlett face. So I would select that in output so that I could monitor through headphones. So you can record live sound through your interface. And I'm getting a check the audio settings, and right here where it says interface, if you would go to device and select your audio interface. If you've done all of this device and select your audio interface. If you've done all of this and you're still not sending and receiving sound with your interface properly, try rebooting your interface, restarting FL, or even restarting your computer. I hope you found this useful. If you have any
Welcome! In this video information, the most confusing part for most people is getting audio from FL Studio into OBS inside the computer. We will focus on setups that don't use a dedicated hardware audio interface loopback input. Loopback is about making the output of one software application available as an input to others. Use a dedicated hardware audio interface loopback input. Loop on setups that don't use a dedicated hardware audio interface loopback input. Loopback is about making the output of one software application available as an input to others. If you do have an audio interface that publishes its output as an audio input option, then use that, as it makes setup a lot easier. First, we'll set up a Windows machine, then macOS. Check installing OBS and OBS Play FL settings, go to audio and select the same device with. You will also want to talk to your audience, Studio, and send it to the master along with all other audio. This would however mean add your own voice feedback on a phone, so in input audio input device. This will load both the inputs on somehow the advanced audio properties tools, as that will set up
If you text me, say you need me, I'll be
on Mario won't show back command.
So we're choosing the Behringer USB audio device, and if we needed to, we could adjust some of the settings for USB audio device, and if we needed to, we could adjust some of the settings in the control.
The M-Series provides convenient loopback channels to your host computer, so you can easily capture your computer's output. For example, I can combine computer audio with live mic and guitar inputs, then stream the combined mix to Twitch, YouTube, or your favorite streaming platform, all in real time. For Windows users, the loopback feature is installed with the necessary driver. For Mac users, you'll need to install the optional Mac driver. Both are available at motu.com/m2-start. If you need assistance downloading and installing the driver, please reference the tutorial videos on that same webpage. After you install the driver, open your DAW software and make sure your M-Series is chosen as the audio driver. For this example, I'll use Loopback to record YouTube output into Performer Lite. First, go to your computer's settings panel and set the computer audio output to your M-Series interface. To record the computer's audio in your DAW, create a stereo audio track. Then, set the input of the track to Loopback 1 and 2.
Control panel by clicking the Show ASIO panel, but I'm going to leave it as it is. Created here, so it says we're going to be recording audio in
quicker, so as you get 512 or 11 rate is the actual PreSonus AudioBox i2. I'm making sure that I'm choosing that AudioBox ASIO driver. When I do that, I also have another option for sample rate, and then I have an option for buffer length down here. And I I can choose these manually inside. You want a computer handling all this stuff. And here on correct, if I input. So if I'm going to be recording on input 1,
options audio settings, and I've switched to it right now. Now I have a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 interface, which I prefer, and that's what I use when I'm not recording a video for YouTube. But I use FL Studio ASIO because my Focusrite, I can't pick that up into OBS an easy way. It would be very sophisticated and difficult and require a lot of cables and software to get it working. So FL Studio ASIO simplifies the process. And with FL Studio ASIO selected, when you're happy with your buffer size and your settings there, if by chance you guys don't have FL Studio ASIO driver, or you guys have like an old version of FL, or maybe you don't want to reinstall FL, because you can solve that problem by just reinstalling FL and it'll put in the FL Studio ASIO driver, I would suggest grabbing the link for the older. Now it's older, so it's not supported. It might be lacking features or performance, but there's an older standalone installer for the FL Studio ASIO driver, which you can check out in the video description. So next, that takes us to OBS. So when we go to OBS, now it might be a bit crazy here. We're gonna first go to, you can see here's my mic, and I'm not using any audio from my webcam, but desktop audio is FL Studio, and I'll show you here. You also saw that when the audio was playing back, my mic just ducked down. So let's first go into the settings of OBS. So this is considering you're relatively familiar with OBS. If you guys are very beginner with OBS, you haven't used it, I recommend checking out some videos on YouTube. There's a whole skew of videos you can check out. But when you go to the video tab, I believe, output. So when you go to output, you're going to want to go to recording. And when you're recording, it needs to be on MP4. MP4 will allow you to select multiple tracks. And when you do that, I have selected here audio 1, audio 2. So you can select up to into Adobe. Be fooled if you're like, wait, which is default, the FL Studio, I'm doing 44.1 kilohertz. Audio device is the Scarlett 1 kilohertz. Studio I'm doing, and make sure that, of course, your other settings coincide with